What do we do with Uncle Harry? Or in the Greek case, Uncle Zeno. What do you do with this person? What do you have to do first?
Clean the body.
Get rid of it. It's very simple. Whether you clean it for, you have to get rid of it quickly. That's the universal issue of death, no matter what rituals, and every culture has a certain story about this, but you have to get rid of it. Now, what are the ways you get rid of a big piece of dead meat? You can burn it up. Now, what's the problem? What do you need to burn a body? A lot of heat and a lot of wood or coal, because it's big and it's dense. It's not going to burn easily. And it's going to smell then, so you have to have incense and stuff like that. So that's a kind of difficult. You have to have a certain kind of social organization to do that effectively. What's another way to get rid of them? How do we get rid of our pets?
Bury them.
Bury them in the backyard. A hole for a person, that's a big hole. And you got to keep it deep enough. Why?
Animals don't disturb
Animals
it.
don't dig it up, and you don't smell it because it's going to stink. Get it down far enough, all right, and cover it up nice. That has the problem, it uses up a lot of space. So it's better to dead people get buried with not a lot of people. Now, the more people you have, the more trouble you have. So you have this burning or burying. Some cultures just leave them around, but not many. You have to have a lot of free space in order to let's leave Uncle Bob to rot in the forest. Fine, you can do that, but only if you have enough room to do it, otherwise it becomes unpleasant. So you have to deal with the corpse. Now you said he's also not Uncle Bob. Okay, what does that mean about a corpse? It looks exactly like, or roughly like, the person who just was there. But it seems as if, again, just to experience, something is missing, right, that was there before. And that's puzzling, isn't it? It's really odd that is missing something that animated the limbs and kept it all together moving so it didn't rot, which means to say that if you stop, you start rotting. Really weird idea. It's kind of scary, but there it is. I also just want to mention in passing, we love change. We always talk about how big change is. Dying ain't a big change, and certainly rotting is not a kind of change we welcome. It's changing. But something is missing. Now this is a very interesting metaphor. It seems as if something has left the body. The body's still there. So this is a problem. It seems as if something has left. Now, parse or interpret for me that metaphor. If we say something has left, what are we assuming? And what do we need a story for? What was there in the first place that left? It has to be the kind of thing that could be there and then not be there. It has to be a leavable thing. Let's put that in. This is all very structural. You have to figure this out. This is a very practical problem. It has to be some leavable thing, the kind of thing that can leave. If there's a leavable thing, we say it's missing. Is there a question of it going somewhere? It obviously was there, now it's not there anymore. So the question arises, where did it go? And it has to be a kind of place that things can go to. All right? And I'm going to come back to the problem with that. You got a problem with where did it go? And then the question, how did it get there? These are all practical questions that everybody asks. Uncle Bob is not the same as Uncle Bob just was, right? We don't tend to hire the dead. Why not? They don't show up. They're lazy, they're unresponsive, irresponsible, don't perform their duties. They don't have the agency. So we think something left. It went somewhere and it has some journey to get there. Dominant metaphors, okay, about who people are. Now, let's go back to the leavable thing. What kind of a thing can leave something else? It sounds like a stupid question, but it's a serious question. It has to be some kind of coherent thing, doesn't it? And Plato's famous dialogue in Immortality, Phaedo, his interlocutors, these young guys, Sirius and Thebes, are nervous because they say, people say when the person dies, the soul is like a smoke or a vapor that just simply dissipates into the air and is gone. Okay? That's a fear. Maybe what holds us together is insubstantial and cannot survive outside the body. But if it can, it's got to be a kind of coherent thing. And how do you identify yourself as a person? As somebody who does what?
Thanks.
Thinking. Now, this has not always been the case, Adam. The Greeks thought, there's two things they thought. There's a famous book by a guy named Bruno Snell. I think it's called The Invention of Mind or something like that. In which he says the Greeks did not have an integrated idea of identity. And part of identity resided in the thumos, or kind of diaphragm or heart. Okay? And they didn't really think of the mind as locatable as we do. Right? They didn't really think of reason as a separate thing. But it did cut, we think that, you think that, I think that. We can't help in our culture telling that story. You just can't not do that. It's just the way we are. So let's etch out what that story is. Adam has given us the clue. Right? The story our culture tells about the evil thing is that it's a thinking thing. Now we're going to start asking embarrassing questions. Makes everybody look like an idiot. You're going to sound stupid in a second. Okay? That's all right. I do too, because there's no other way to talk about it. Where is this thinking thing? If it leaves, it's got to be somewhere. Where is it? Pardon? In your head. That is so dumb. There's a mind in where? What your brain? In the brain. We think that somehow located in this thing called the brain, which is a separate organ like the pancreas, or the liver, or the gallbladder, there's a thing called the mind. And when you die, the mind leaves the brain and the rest of the body behind and goes somewhere. Now, the assumption here, it's bizarre, is that there's kind of invisible double inside you, in your brain, but not spatial. And it's in there like a little ghost. And when you die, this ghostly mind leaves the brain and goes somewhere. Despite the fact that no medical examination has ever revealed the existence of anything ghostly in the folded tissues of the brain. Okay, yes.
What about the soul?
What is the soul? Is the soul different from what he's talking about?